Tell me,
I hear you.
is it you?
Is it you?
Hello, this is Stingray. I'd like to share a dream somebody had sent to us. It has some components in it that I think kind of relate to the current financial economic state of the world. And, there's been a lot of chatter about a lot of different things about what's going to happen or what could happen, all the debt and things that the politicians and banksters are doing. The first thing I would advise anybody on receiving any information, no matter who it's from, is to take it to the Lord and to pray. Because there's a lot of fear-driven information that will have you do bad decisions or make a decision in fear instead of in faith. So the dream that we're talking about says, I had a dream recently, was on an English bus, and was paying for something while on the bus, perhaps a ticket. It came that I still had to pay for something more, and I gave my debit card to this Asian/Indian bus conductor. When I looked at the bus conductor, he was cutting up my debit card and doing the same again and again. I was very upset with him. Feelings were while I was dreaming that I didn't trust this Asian man. What do you think of the dream? Well, I'm not much of a dream interpreter, but a few things that I do want to bring up that's currently happening in the world is the bus conductor is looked at as an Asian/Indian person. That may represent China or India, and they are currently the two largest buyers of gold in the whole world, producers of gold. China is obviously buying anything that has a for sale sign on it worldwide, no matter what it is. They have a large stake now in the food supply, and India obviously is a very large consumer of gold. So that may represent them too, because they also represent a organization called BRICS, five countries. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So their goal is to at some point in time be competitive with the U.S. dollar, possibly even overthrow the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. China is now going to be in the basket of currency used by the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. They basically set all the banking regulations within country to country. And if you're a country that needs to borrow money to do infrastructure building, you go to the IMF. And the U.S. had their hand in there for quite a while, and now there's been a disturbance within that relationship, and they've basically sided a lot more with China. Also with this is in April, the Chinese banks are required now by the Shanghai Commodities Exchange that they must now be listing gold in yuan, no longer in the U.S. dollar. This is perhaps to start fixing the price of gold to what it really should be, since the United States and England has been subduing the market, manipulating the market for quite some time now. That could be what that is about, because he is receiving money, and then the money he received, he cut it up because the debit card uh, could have a couple different descriptions. One, it's viewed as a cashless way to pay for stuff. It's still representative of cash, but it's still cashless, digital currency. Uh, we know that the banks are wanting to go that direction. The governments are wanting to go that direction so that they can have more control over their citizens' money, making sure that the taxes are paid properly. They'll tell us it's for our own good, so that terrorists and thieves and all sorts of drug dealers would go to the wayside. Obviously, I guess they don't really look at there being a black market. That these things can still get done. But that's what that could represent, is with the advent of Russia and India and their compadres, you could say, coming about. They may be forcing a different change in the currency, let's say. and the currency that this person was offering would have been backed by the silver pound or the sterling pound. It could state that England is getting ready to have a currency crisis, which a lot of countries probably will be. The fiat currency is backed by nothing more than the ability of the country to pay its debt. Uh, it used to be in America, we had the gold standard, and the money, the dollar, was compared to the gold, and then that went to the wayside in the 30s to get us out of the Great Depression because we had no money in the world wars that we were fighting. And then the Bretton Woods agreements came about out of that to set gold at a certain price, that the U.S. dollar would be convertible to gold, but it wasn't going to be held. Our reserves didn't have to be at a certain level. We just wanted to be able to convert that. And then during the Vietnam War, President Nixon either had to file for bankruptcy or find some other way to get out of having to pay all these people in U.S. dollars for gold, because we just didn't have U.S. dollars at that point in time, and we didn't have gold either. And so they made that decision to break the Bretton Woods Agreement, enter into an agreement with the petroleum states, Saudi Arabia, all those guys over there, that oil would now be listed in dollars versus whatever currency there is. And throughout the years, other countries have tried to go to the euro or the ruble or the yuan, and coincidentally so, a war happens to break out in that country when that happens. Saddam Hussein found that out when he started listening to the euros. But now that China and Russia is a pretty large player, they're now pushing for rubles and yuan and all that stuff to be listed with other countries that they do stuff with. So getting back to this, it may be a dream to this person that you need to seek prayer on your finances, the state of the economy in which you live in, and maybe God is trying to tell you need to do something different with your money, with your funds, so that in the near future, if there is a collapse of some sort or a change in how we do, how we buy stuff, how we trade things, you'll be prepared and ready. A lot of people have always given me slack because we have a farm, we produce all of our own food and grow veggies, and we also have other ways of trading for things. We do a lot of bartering and whatnot, and everyone's like, "Wow, that's just out of fear. That's not out of faith." Well, if God tells me to do something, I'm going to do it, and that's what you need to do. Is if God is leading you into a direction, you may feel uncomfortable about it. Maybe your church or your peers or even your family thinks you're nuts for doing it. So, we just have to look back at Noah. He built a boat for, I don't know, what was it, 80 some years, and then the flood came in an area where there was never any rain. But he did it, and everybody thought he was crazy for doing it, and he basically saved the world as it was, just his family and animals and whatnot. But he was obedient to God. He didn't question God. There's always a parody where a guy goes to heaven and he asks God, he goes, I prayed and I prayed that you would save me from this flood. And God said, well, I tried to save you 3 times. First, I sent the truck in to come get you when the flood started, but you said, no, I'm waiting on God. And then once the floods came, you crawled up to your rooftop and or to the second story of your house, and a boat came by. I sent that boat for you to rescue you, and you said, no, I'm waiting on God, I'm waiting on God. And then the floods came up even higher, and you were up on your rooftop, and I sent a helicopter to save you. And you said, no, I'm waiting on God to save me. And obviously he drowned. So sometimes we think that by acting in the natural, that is ungodly for whatever reason, because we have these preconceived notions that God is going to do something supernatural and just whisk us away and put us somewhere dry. Don't think that's ever happened anywhere biblically. So pray. Keep your mind in tune with the Word of God, because there are a lot of people preaching fear, 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 buy my product, buy my rations in a bucket type of thing. I would just say, just do whatever God is leading you to do, and don't do it in fear, and don't listen to what anybody says. So I hope this was helpful. Hopefully in the near future I can start doing a little bit more on economic things uh, before springtime hits, because it's fairly radically busy time here on our farm when the springtime hits. So anyways, hope you all have a good day. God bless.